try to give myself grace. Everybody says give yourself grace. It's so hard for me to do that. At the end of the day, it's my fault. And I think everybody.
Griner was left in tears as Aaliyah Boston lifted her teammates, leading the Indiana Fever to their first semifinal appearance since 2015. Few analysts saw this coming. 6 players sidelined, Caitlin Clark out, and yet Indiana flipped the script. Boston's dominance over Griner sparked chatter about possible retirement, raising questions about the future of one of the game's icons. Is this truly the end for Griner, or just another chapter in her career? Share your thoughts.
Now, Mitchell's been quiet for a while. Not anymore. In Canada with another assist. A big bounce-back night for her. Mitchell dribbles behind the line to take the 3. Howard with the one-handed rebound and put.
That's what the Fever carried into Game 3 in Atlanta. Yet they're the ones advancing to the semifinals. Think about it. Caitlin Clark out, along with Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Carlson, Chloe BBY, Ari McDonald, and Dyrus Dantas. Nearly half of Stephanie White's rotation sat in street clothes, but Indiana still fought through and ended a playoff drought that had lingered for almost a decade. A resilient performance that stunned everyone.
Talked about the desperation before Game 2 on Tuesday. Just how does that feel tonight?
I think anytime that you're a win-or-go-home situation, there's desperation. And so it has to carry over. You know, we're in the same situation. Our back is against the wall. We got to come out and we've got to play with that sense of urgency. We've got to play with that hunger. We've got to value every single possession and every single opportunity.
And to celebrate a playoff series win. Tamika Catchings was a franchise cornerstone. Stephanie White was guiding them to the finals. And Natasha Howard was only starting her career. Since then, the Fever endured rebuilds and quick playoff exits. But on Friday, everything changed. Analysts insisted they couldn't beat Atlanta without Caitlin Clark scoring or Sophie Cunningham's spark. Many believed the Dream's depth would overwhelm them. Instead, Indiana looked sharper, tougher, and like the team with the true advantage.
We've just been through so much this season, giving ourselves another chance in Game 3. Emotions are high.
This is a group that's confidence has really never wavered. This group has continued to show their heart, their character, night in and night out.
I think we all piggyback off each other within our group and our organization.
We've been in every kind of situation you can imagine, and we've been able to find ways to put ourselves in position to win, and this will be no different.
Somebody has to lose and somebody has to win.
In an arena, the atmosphere felt divided, but by the second half, Fever fans were louder than the Dream's own crowd. It turned into a home game vibe in the middle of an elimination battle, fueling Indiana late. And don't overlook the impact of the injured stars. Caitlin Clark kept rallying from the bench. Sophie Cunningham took on the role of an extra coach, and Chloe BBY was active in every huddle. Even without touching the floor, they gave Indiana the energy of a six.
Indiana Fever are heading to the semifinals.
Driving to the foul line in the paint, lays it in. Sims crossover left to right, gets into the paint, layup, good.
Inside, Boston.
That's when you see how personal this win truly was for the Fever's lineup. It marked Aaliyah Boston's first playoff series victory, but also Kelsey Mitchell's and Lexi Hull's, who earned her spot in the rotation through relentless effort. Every player who stepped on the floor contributed. Yet for those names in particular, it was validation long overdue. After frustrations of Games 1 and 2, controversial whistles, missed calls, and league-wide criticism of officiating, Indiana refused to lose focus. In Game 3, they channeled it all into poise, composure, and execution, slamming the door shut on Atlanta's season.
To Jones, throws it up.
No good! Game over! And the Fever are moving on!
Atlanta entered with every advantage on paper. Healthier roster, home court, and supposed depth. Indiana answered with grit, chemistry, and timely playmaking. And when the Dream unraveled in the closing minutes, resilience proved decisive. That takes us to the defining storyline. Aaliyah Boston versus Brittany Griner, a matchup that felt like a clear changing of the guard in the paint. The shocking part? Griner spent most of an elimination game on the bench. For years, she was the postseason's most feared interior force. The shot blocker who could erase possessions, the scorer who could swing momentum with a single hook shot. She embodied playoff dominance in the paint. Yet in this series, particularly in Game 3, she wasn't trusted to close. That fact alone speaks volumes about how quickly the balance has shifted and how Boston may now be claiming the mantle Griner won.
This is just 4 of 16 from the floor in Game 2. That's terrific call into Boston. Beautiful.
Griner made her name by overpowering opponents in the paint. She had the length to alter shots, the quickness to beat slower posts, and the instincts to dominate both ends. In past playoff runs, double-doubles came with ease. But against Indiana, that version of Griner disappeared. She struggled to score, her rotations lagged, and her defense couldn't mask Atlanta's flaws. Instead of anchoring the dream, she became the weak spot. On the opposite side, Aaliyah Boston embodied everything Griner once was. Boston closed Game 3 with 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, but her impact went beyond the stat line. With the clock winding down, she sealed position, converted the go-ahead layup with just 7.4 seconds left, and left Atlanta stunned. That one moment didn't just win Indiana the game. It felt like a symbolic turning point, flipping the script on Griner's legacy while spotlighting Boston as the league's new force inside.
Atlanta has not been good. 40%. Maybe a little higher than that, 45.
Indiana electing not to call a timeout. Boston almost gave it away. Into Boston for the left. She hits it. Indiana goes out.
Boston gets it. Mitchell is denied, but then Jordan Canada falls. Bree Jones almost gets it, but that's a second defender that's gone down, and Bree Jones.
Boston's defense proved just as impactful as her offense. She never gambled for blocks or lunged out of position. Instead, she leaned on discipline, nudging Brittany Griner off her preferred spots, angling her body to force awkward fadeaways, and holding her ground when Griner tried to back her down. That patience and positioning disrupted everything. Shots that once felt automatic for Griner clanged out, and by the third quarter, her frustration was written all over her face. There's a big difference between being outplayed by raw talent and having your comfort zone completely stripped away. Boston allowed her nothing. The numbers emphasize the contrast. Griner's playoff resume is built on double-digit scoring, efficient shooting, and heavy minutes. Yet in this series, she fell to career lows, just 2 points and 2 rebounds in one game, while losing crunch time minutes. Boston, meanwhile, delivered 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, shaping the entire floor. It was the clearest passing of the torch moment imagined.
I don't think I really gotten through all the way. I didn't let down, everybody in my family, and it was just. I think I'm still trying to get through that part. Still to this day. I try to give myself grace. Everybody says give yourself grace. It's so hard for me to do that. At the end of the day, it's my fault. And everybody got it.
Now the question looms. Is Brittany Griner's era as a dominant center over? When a coach benches you in an elimination game, it says more than tough night. It signals doubt, maybe even a loss of trust. Griner has enjoyed a decorated career filled with highlights, but this series didn't resemble a slump. It looked like a turning point. Perhaps age and mileage are finally catching up. Perhaps retirement is nearer than anyone expected. Or maybe she simply collided with Aaliyah Boston, a player who already looks like the future of the position. While Griner sat quietly on the sideline, Boston commanded the spotlight that once belonged to her, sealing Indiana's win and cementing her rise. It wasn't just about advancing to the semifinals. It felt symbolic. The torch had been passed. The old standard gave way. The new one took center stage. And everyone watching understood the weight of what just unfolded.
And Mitchell, a little bit too strong. Boy, oh, we got some stuff going on here between Aaliyah Boston and Bree Jones, who ended up on the deck. The officials are going to go.
Story shifts from one star to the entire roster, because as dominant as Aaliyah Boston was, Indiana needed more than her brilliance to survive. Kelsey Mitchell attacked relentlessly. Lexi Hull delivered hustle plays. Odyssey Sims organized the offense. And every role player filled their lane at exactly the right moment. That collective effort is why the Fever are still standing. Losing 6 rotation players isn't just losing depth. It shatters entire game plans. Yet somehow, Indiana pieced together one of their most complete wins of the season. With Caitlin Clark sidelined and the bench stripped of its usual spark, it came down to resilience. Who decided this game? It wasn't one individual. It was a blend of leaders, veterans, and competitors who flat out refused to see their season end, and together they extended Indiana's playoff dream.
Just picked up her second foul, so Hillman and Gray each with 2. Mitchell over the Boston screen.
And that was tough, her hands. But going back to that ball screen here, little movement in the first part of that screen by Aaliyah Boston.
Mitchell, man, she is so good.
Kelsey Mitchell set the tone from the very first quarter. Atlanta's defense swarmed the lane, packing bodies and swiping at every drive, but Mitchell still found her rhythm. She poured in 24 points, with 19 coming in the first half, keeping Indiana within reach when the game could have slipped away early. Her ability to slice through traffic and manufacture shots in tight spaces prevented the Fever from falling out of contention before the drama even began. She's been Indiana's leading scorer throughout the postseason, and in this matchup, she carried herself like the anchor of a team missing its superstar.